Hi everybody, this is Belinda from Belinda's Book Nook, and I'm here today to do another, I think this is part 3 for the Fall Into Reading Challenge, talking about the books that I've found on my bookshelves that could possibly fulfill the prompts for, or the bingo card for this challenge. So we've already done a bunch of books, and I had to kind of do a little bit of searching today to find some books for one of the categories, which I found was very strange because I read a lot of books and I like a lot of authors. And then I started to realize how at least what I have on my shelf right now, because I've also borrowed books from the library, and I've also had ebooks and audiobooks I've taken out from the library. So it was kind of interesting looking for beloved author, because I've read really great books by just one by an author, and I would consider them somebody I really like, and I'm looking for their next book. And so it was kind of interesting to get to that category. So that's where we're going to start, because it was kind of strange to me that that's like the most common question. People are like, who's your favorite author? And I don't have a favorite that I can pull out of, I have favorite books, and I have experiences with some book authors that I've read a lot more of their books. So I don't know, it's kind of an interesting category, right? So I'm going to start us off with one that I had, an author. She's a Chilean author, and I've read, oh God, I don't think I've written here how many books of hers, but I've read a lot of her books, and I haven't had one of hers that I hadn't enjoyed. So I think she could go into this category of beloved author, and that's Isabelle Allende, and she is a Chilean author, like I said. And this book is called Eva Luna, and it's the cover here. And I've never heard, I don't really have heard anything about this one. I think, did I write down when this one was written? Published in 1987, so maybe that's why there's not a big buzz. It's not a very recent book of hers. But I think I had saw this, I was at a thrift shop and I saw it and I said, oh God, I should grab it because I really like her books. I've always had a good experience. I like how her books are kind of like historical fiction. They bring a lot of emotion and intelligence to the story, and I just have not had a bad experience. So this one, do we have any notes on this one? This one, I'll pull from the back because I don't remember what it was about. I think it's about this woman, let me see, designed to comfort a dying man, born to a servant and raised as a hired hand. Eva Luna learns quickly that she has a talent that belies her humble start, the gift of storytelling. As years pass and her imprudent nature, this is what this is for. It sends her from household to household, from home of a doctor famed for mummifying the dead. I'm sorry. To a colorful whorehouse and the care of a beautiful transsexual. It is Eva's magical imagination that keeps her alive and fuels her ardent encounters with lovers of all kinds. And it goes on and on. I think it has a bit of magical realism in it. And I think that it kind of encompasses all these stories because she's able to tell these stories to people, and obviously people will pay her for these stories. I think that Isabelle Allende is able to tell some stories, some South American stories, and kind of give you a kind of feel of the culture. So that is my guess on this one. I have not, like I said, read it, so I don't know if I have any other notes in here. Do I have notes in here? I don't think so. But that one, I'm really, looking forward to getting my hands on and reading. And this one actually also qualifies with orange on the cover too. So, and leaves. Hello, leaves and orange on the cover. So this might be my only one. No, I had the was it Lisa C book? I think that had leaves on hers. So this is the second one. I don't know if I'm going to do this the whole video. I'll stop if it really gets bad. I'm sorry. I apologize. The next one is a book 3 of a series I read more than a couple of years, it feels like, ago now. Because I remember, it's funny because when I'm looking at this, I'm trying to remember the first book, and I remember reading it at pickup, and it was at a different school for my children. So I think I'm not sure when was this one? The first one was published, I want to say in 2015. So we got about 6 years a span of when I could have read the first one. The first one is called The Invisible Library, and this one is called The Burning Pages by Genevieve Cogman. It's a fantasy book, fantasy fiction book, and it follows, what is her name? Did I write her name down here? Irene. Yep, Irene, and Kai is her assistant. She's a librarian, and they live in this world that's outside of the times of the regular world, right? I don't know if I'm doing this right. And their job is to guard, protect, and to collect books from all over the world. And because they keep these books safe, it keeps the balance of the world. Everything is all good then. And I really loved the first one. The second one, I like the second one, but I don't know. I almost feel like the first one was the better one. It was building to giving you the background of her and him, but it's definitely good. So I know that I like this author's writing is because when I read the first one, I immediately bought, I think at the time, there were 4 books, and I think I bought 2 and 3. I don't know if I bought 4. 4 was coming out. That's what it was. It hadn't come out yet, I think. So I think there's more since then. And of course, the pages are sticking. So on this one, it has The Invisible Library, The Masked City, and The Burning Page. So I read The Invisible Library and The Masked City, so I wanted to read this one next. This one was good. So this will also qualify as a fantasy book as well. And probably some other things I could pick in here as well. But this one, and these I just snagged these because this, for some reason, this category kind of stumped me. And I felt bad because I really like the books that I read and I like the authors, but I've only read one, or I don't have one of their next books. So I was like, oh, that kind of puts me in a funky position because I might have borrowed it from the library, what have you. So anyways, these are ones that I found on my shelf that I do know that I do enjoy their writing. So that's one. Another one, I've read 7 books of hers, but this was her first one, I think, and it was the one that people talked about the most, and I've never read it. And this is The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri. And I really want to read this. This is kind of an immigrant story, and it basically explores, that experience of the clash of cultures, coming from one culture to another culture, and trying to figure out how you fit in and how you can reconcile your previous beliefs, etc., in this new setting, if you want to, and things like that. So I think the way that they do it, I think they follow a marriage of a couple. And in the book, believe it covers from Calcutta to Boston and New York. So it moves around a little bit. But I do think that they made, did I write the year this one was written? 2003. It was her first novel too. I don't know, but I feel like there was a movie made on this one. But I won't watch. I try not to watch them until I've read the book. And so like I said, I've read over things of hers and enjoyed it. So I really want to read this one, and it's on my list. And technically, another leaf on the cover, and a little piece of orange. I think I've got that category covered, but I love to see that I can find it on these books. All right, another one is an author that, everybody knows this author probably, and this is Alice Walker. I watched the movie, but I never read the book, The Color Purple. I want to read it as an adult. I saw this when I was really younger, and I haven't watched it since then. My sister has watched it several times, the movie. But I do want to read the book. There is definitely trigger warnings because I remember in the movie there was some incest and abuse. So there's definitely that for anybody that would consider reading this. But I think she won for this one. Did I write it? Yes, the 1983 Pulitzer Prize for fiction for this one. So it follows a girl. She thinks she's 14, Celie, and she lives in the South. And you get it in the movie. There's a cast of characters that kind of come with the story along with Celie, and she has a terrible, horrible relationship with her father. And I'm curious how much they pulled from the book to make the movie, how much more there is here or what's been changed. So I do want to read this. I remember seeing this on the bargain table, I think at Barnes and Noble. It's in one of my videos, my older videos, because I remember coming in like wanted to tell everybody, I'm like, I'm so excited to pick this up. I think I got it for like $4, and I've never read it. So, and this is really a nice version of it. I think it's pretty. So excited about that one. That's a possibility. And another one I have read several books of Jodie Picoles. And I think it's Picoles. I don't think the T is pronounced. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? I think that the T is silent, so it's Jodie Picoles. And I've really enjoyed her books. I think that she does a great job of researching before she, writes the different books that she writes. The one that I had read, the first one I read from her was called Leaving Time. And she did an exceptional amount of research about elephants and elephants in captivity. And I actually, even from that book, I remember for my next birthday, the organization that she had mentioned in the back of the book, I adopted an elephant on my birth date. So basically you pay a certain amount of money and they feed them, you get a certificate, and you can watch on the cameras on the computer how the elephants are doing, and it was really great. And I was really moved by that story. The next one I think that I read of hers was, did I write down? Which one did I read? I think I read Small Great Things, and that one focused on racism and about this nurse in the United States, and I really liked it. I know some people didn't, but I was one of the people that did enjoy the book and I liked how she captured the information in that story. And then the next one I think I read was A Spark of Light, and that one was about abortion. It was like an abortion clinic, and that one was pretty traumatic too, like in terms of the things happening in that story. But she touches on really like topics that, they're great books, I think, for book clubs, because there's a lot to talk about. It's, and it's got to be a good book club that you're ready to open up those can of worms, because they're heavy topics. They're not light and fluffy. So, I'm sorry. Now I'm going to do that the rest of the video. But don't leave. So this one is one of hers that I have owned and I have not read. And this one says Dahlia Hopkins has led a charmed life raised in rural New Hampshire by her beloved widowed father. She now has a young daughter, a handsome fiance, and her own search and rescue bloodhound, which she uses to find missing persons. But as Dahlia plans her wedding, she is plagued by flashbacks of a life she can't recall, until a policeman knocks on her door, revealing a secret about herself that changes the world as she knows it and threatens to jeopardize her future. With Vanishing Acts, Jodie Picoles explores how life as we know it might not turn out the way we imagined, how the people we loved and trusted can suddenly change before our very eyes, how the memory we thought had vanished could return as a thread. It sounds so good. It's chunky though. It's a chunk stir right here. I think it's like almost 400 pages. Woo woo. Actually, it is 400 pages. It's a little 400 plus. Maybe that's why I haven't gotten to it yet. But an option, right? An option. And like I said, I enjoy her books. This video is going to be long if I cough and drink through the whole thing. Another one, it has special place in my heart because the first time I read one of these books in this series by Alexander McCall Smith, the #1 ladies detective agency, I had the flu and I was in bed and I couldn't really do anything. So I put the audiobook on and I tell you, it was just a lifeline. It was so nice. I really loved listening to the audiobook version of it. And then I started collecting like these books, which I am evaluating whether I want to continue in that path because I am trying to pare down my my books in my library shelf, my shelves. But I had started collecting the books. But I do read the last one that I read the first 3 in this series, and then I think the other 2 I listened to the audio book, and I really like the narrator. So I may just stop collecting them and just finish listening with the audio. I don't know. I really like them. I love the little covers. This one isn't the exceptional cover, but the other ones are really, really pretty. And it was kind of fun to go to thrift shops and kind of find the next one. And he's got so many in this series. This is number 5, called The Full Cupboard of Life. I'm talking and not showing it, and that's a bad thing. But I just really enjoy this character. She's just so sassy, smart, and she's got grit, and it's just good. And so I might need a pick-me-up. This is a good one that fills in the space when I'm reading heavy, which I have some heavy books I'm thinking about reading next month. So this might come in handy. So this is one that's a possible contender as well. There's another one that's a really good one. I can't remember. I won't even go there. I'll find it, and if I do find it, I'll show it to you that's another one that just makes me happy when I read them. And then I can't go on this list without showing another Jodie Picoles. This is horrible. This was one I just got this year. It's the latest in her latest series. Oh my God, I'm gonna keep coughing. I don't want to start over. I read the other one this year. This is the latest, so this is a contender. I love her books, hands down. I've always enjoyed reading her stuff, so she's definitely a beloved author. The next one, I'm going to try to push through this. I know I look miserable. I can feel my face is flushing, and yep. Okay, so the next category, I had another one. I have another 2-book graphic novel that could qualify, and I can't find them. I'm not sure what shelf it's on. So we're going to go with just what I found today. For a graphic novel, I may do another graphic novel, but I'm trying to stick, like I said, to my shelf. This one is a set, and it's Boxers and Saints, and it's by Jean Lane Yang, and he also wrote American Born Chinese, which I didn't read that one. This one is set in China in 1898, and it's a band of foreign missionaries and soldiers roam the countryside. No, is this the right first one? Yeah. Robbing Chinese peasants. Little Bao has had enough. Harnessing the power of ancient Chinese gods, he recruits an army of boxers, which are commoners trained in kung fu, who fight to free China from foreign devils. Against all odds, this grassroots rebellion is violently successful, but nothing is simple, and Little Bao is fighting for the glory of China, but at what cost? So many are dying, including thousands of secondary devils, which are Chinese citizens who have converted to Christianity. So it sounds a little heavy. And here's like a little bit of the pictures inside of it. It's got great graphics. And I probably should do like bloody ones. Sorry about that. But it is a war, so, I've had this one for so long. And then this is the book, the second one to it. And they're kind of cool, clever covers, because you can kind of put them like this. And then the backs you can put together like that. So they're great, like, book nerd on the shelf books. This one would be my graphic novel, or the other one I have, which is also another, I realize, a kind of dark graphic novel. I do have also the Aya series. Where are my books? I'm just realizing some other books that I have. I may have tucked away. That's a contender as well. Okay, so that's it for graphic novel, and I have 3 more books. Hang with me. I feel like I've been on for a long time. The 3 that I have for historical fiction you've seen before, so I won't even go too much into them. They're recent birthday purchases. We've got this one, Wild Woman in the Blues by Denny S. Bryce, and this is a historical fiction. It's set in 1925 Chicago, and it's kind of like a mystery historical fiction. And I have been wanting to read this one, and I've only heard good things. I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about this, so I'm very excited to get to this. So I really want to get to this before the year's out, and it would be great to be able to do it and check it off as my historical fiction for this challenge. The next one I have is Remembrance, and this is Rita Wood's. This one came out this year, I believe, right? I thought this one came out this year. I think so. Or maybe it was last year. I kind of waited on this one. I looked at it. No, I'm sorry. It's not even this year. It came out 2019. I'm sorry. And I know I wanted to get it in paperback too. That was the other thing, another reason I was waiting. I remember hearing about it, and then I was just, I put it on my list of a book to wait for. And then when it came out, I didn't get it. And this one is, it says, for centuries there have been rumors, whispers in the fields and behind sheets of laundry. A place of sanctuary, of freedom, and perhaps magic. If you can make it there, now 3 women separated by time and oceans, but alike in desperation, seek its refuge. In 1791, Haiti, the island is on the brink of revolution, and Abigail is forced to flee with her mistress, leaving her children behind. Oof. In 1857, New Orleans, promised her freedom on her 18th birthday. Margot is sold away just days before to settle her master's debts. And then present day Cleveland, Gail, I guess that's how you can say, Gail struggles to rebuild her life in America after losing nearly everything in a devastating earthquake. With no one to turn, the rumor of an ancient magic calls to Gail, Abigail, and Margot from across the centuries, built on voodoo and protected by secrecy. Remembrance just may be the last hope on the road to freedom. So this sounds kind of good, kind of a little eerie, and I like how it's touching 3 different places, and I want to see how they tie the people together. That's definitely a skill if you can do it. So I'm looking forward to that, and I think I've heard good stuff about that one. And I'm glad I waited for the paperback. I just don't want a lot of hardcovers. Now, I say that as I hold this one up, my last book for today, but I couldn't wait on this one. When I heard about this before it came out, I knew I was going to get it. I love the cover of this. I'm curious what they're going to do with the paperback version. But for now, I'm going to keep this hardcover. This is Island Queen by Vanessa Riley. It is another historical fiction. It's based on this woman in the Caribbean. And let me see her name, Dorothy Kerwin Thomas. She's a freed woman of color. And back in this time period, it's very curious to see how this came about, and she went on to become very successful and wealthy and in the Caribbean. So I definitely would love to read this. This is a historical fiction as well. It's a big one. We'll see. If it reads fast, it could happen this year. If not, it will be pushed probably into the new year. But I would really love to read this one. And I think that a couple of reviews that I've saw since its release have been positive, so that's a really good thing, because this one is a historical fiction, so it depends on how people handle it. Usually people do a pretty good job of inserting enough information to kind of pique your curiosity to go look more, and it also depends on how much liberties they may take with the information they find to create their story. So you have to be able to parse basically what is the fiction and what are the facts. So we'll see. I'm excited, and I just love the cover. I love it. Everything. The spine. It was exceptional. Really, really beautiful. So those are the books that I have. When I started this video, I almost was getting ready to do the fantasy, and I realized I already did it. So we're down to a couple more categories. Takes place in the fall is the one I really think I'm going to struggle with. I don't know. I'm sure one of these books does. I'll find out when I start reading. My science fiction, I'm going to blur that with fantasy in the books that I had told you about. I have one standalone. I have about 4 classics to talk to you guys about. I have 3 thrillers and 2 contemporaries. So I probably could squeeze that all in one more video, and then you'll have what's on my bookshelf. That could, I think that I can do a good job of this bingo. So what I'm going to probably do, like I told you guys, I am definitely going to print up the covers of the ones I definitely think I'm going to read, and play around with placement on the bingo card, and then I will glue them down when I finalize which was which so that I can cover the most spots. But I'm excited. I am plugging away at my books for this month, so hopefully we'll get to some of these other ones soon. And like I said, it's just another way for me to revisit what's on my shelf and get them read. And for some of them, they will stay, and some of them, they may go and make space for new books, because I think that's obviously the dilemma we all have, is we buy books and then we have no space because we continue to buy books, but nothing goes out, everything comes in. And I know that there's definitely some books on my shelf that I'm hanging on to that I need to let go of, and I know there's some on there that I could read and still pass on to somebody else and not feel a problem not having it anymore. So this is a good challenge to kind of help me do that, because like I said, I'm not pulling anything from outside of my house. So if it's not on my shelf, it's not going in this challenge. So I'm trying to be strong, finish this year strong. I hope you all are well. I can still hear it in my throat. I apologize for the nasty nasal phlegm yuckiness that has presented itself in this video, and I also apologize for the length, because I feel like I've talked a long time. Let me know how you guys are doing, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Keep reading. Bye.